Hello, my friends. Today I want to share with you something that not many people know. It is not just about asking for an extra blanket or a cup of warm water. It is something deeper, a hidden principle that only those with experience in life can truly sense. Some might call it the comfort code of the sky, but I simply call it the art of peaceful flying. Perhaps you have flown many times. Perhaps you are already familiar with the noise of the engines, with the artificial light, or with the long and tiring hours of waiting. Yet on every flight, there are always chances to turn the journey into something more comfortable, more meaningful. The problem is that very few notice, and most people let these moments slip by. If you stay with me, I will unfold each layer of this secret, not with the usual tips you find everywhere, but with fresh ways to make both body and mind lighter when you fly. And trust me, what comes at the end will surprise you, because it will not only make the flight more comfortable, it can turn it into a memory worth keeping for life. One of the most silent struggles many seniors carry on a plane is the hesitation to ask. Somewhere deep inside, there is a thought that requesting something may be bothersome, or that patience is a virtue that should remain unshaken even at 30,000 feet. But here is the truth. Asking is not begging. Asking is a form of exercising your right to be cared for. Airlines do not view requests as disturbances. They see them as part of their duty, and flight attendants often feel more fulfilled when they know they made your journey easier. Psychology teaches us that helping others creates a cycle of positive emotions. When you ask a crew member for guidance or support, you are not only helping yourself, you are giving them the chance to feel useful, to connect, to do what they are trained and eager to do. The barrier is rarely external. It is usually internal, and it is built on years of being told not to cause trouble. The secret lies in the tone and the manner. A gentle smile, a clear voice, a simple thank you, and suddenly what you thought was a burden becomes a bridge. The courage to ask is in fact the courage to honor your own needs, and that is where real comfort begins. Comfort in the air often begins long before you step into the airport. Your body is the true vehicle that carries you, and the way you treat it the day before flying can decide how the journey feels. A short walk, gentle stretching, or even light breathing exercises the evening before can help circulation and prevent stiffness. The body remembers how you prepared it. Food and drink also matter. Choose meals that are simple, with less salt, more water, and light protein. Avoid heavy or greasy dishes that slow digestion, because altitude can make the stomach less forgiving. Hydration is not just about drinking water on the plane, it is about entering the cabin already nourished. Carrying a small comfort kit is another form of self-respect. Pack what you know makes you feel balanced. Whether it is your medication, a soft scarf, a packet of herbal tea, or even a mint to refresh your breath. Clothes should be light, layered, and easy to adjust. Planes shift between warm and cold quickly, and your comfort depends on flexibility. Preparation is more than a routine. It is a quiet promise to yourself. It is saying, I will not endure this journey. I will guide my body through it with care. That simple shift can make the difference between a restless flight and a peaceful one. Flying is not just about moving across distance. It is about managing energy in an environment that quietly drains it. The constant engine noise, the dry air, the artificial light, they all chip away at your strength without you realizing. That is why seniors often step off a plane feeling more tired than they expected, even when the flight was calm. The secret is not to fight the plane, but to pace yourself within it. Short moments of rest can be more powerful than long hours of forced sleep. Closing your eyes for 5 minutes, slowing your breath, and letting your shoulders drop can restore more energy than you imagine. Energy is like water in a vessel. It needs regular small refills, not one sudden flood. Creating your own cocoon helps protect what you have. A scarf to wrap around your neck, a pair of earplugs or soft music, and a posture that supports your back can shield you from external drains. Move every hour, even if it is just a few steps or a gentle stretch, to keep circulation alive. Energy management is not about lasting through the flight. It is about arriving with enough strength to enjoy what comes next. The flight is only a chapter, and how you preserve your energy decides how the story continues. Comfort in the air often depends on one thing: how you communicate with those who serve you. Flight attendants are trained to notice, but they are human, and sometimes they miss. A simple introduction at the beginning can change that. A smile, a polite greeting, even a light comment about your excitement or your concern creates recognition. Once they know your face, you are no longer just a seat number, you are someone they remember. Words matter, but the way you frame them matters more. Instead of saying, "I need this," try saying, "I would feel safer if," or "could you guide me through?" These phrases invite partnership rather than demand. Crew members respond with more warmth when they feel they are supporting rather than obeying. Your body language also speaks. Restlessness, confusion with seatbelts, or hesitation when standing, these are signals they read quickly. Do not be afraid to let those signals show. They often bring assistance without a word. Trust is built in small exchanges. When you acknowledge their effort with a thank you or a kind remark, you reinforce that trust. Soon you will find that your needs are not only met, they are anticipated. Communication on a plane is not about asking often. It is about asking wisely and doing so with respect. The cabin is like a small moving city in the sky, narrow aisles, crowded rows, and constant movement. For seniors, navigation can feel like a challenge, but with a few mindful choices, it becomes a path of ease. The first choice begins with the seat. Aisle seats allow easier movement, seats near restrooms reduce strain, and seats away from busy areas bring more quiet. Selecting your space is the first step to mastering the cabin. When it is time to rise, do not rush. Place both feet firmly, hold the armrest, and pause for a second before stepping out. This small pause gives your balance a chance to catch up with the moving plane. Walking the aisle is less about speed and more about rhythm. A slow, steady pace, one step at a time, makes the narrow path less daunting. Observe before you move. Watch the service carts, notice other passengers, and step when the path is clear. Seniors who move with awareness not only feel safer, they also inspire patience from others. A useful technique is the two-step rhythm. Stand tall, rest briefly, then walk forward. It prevents dizziness and builds confidence. The cabin is not just a corridor, it is a living space, and moving through it with grace allows you to hold your dignity and comfort at the same time. Comfort in flight is more than luck. It is a science of how the body reacts to air travel. The cabin air is drier than most deserts, which means skin and eyes lose moisture quickly. A simple sip of water, a dab of moisturizer, or closing your eyes for a few seconds can restore what the environment takes away. Comfort begins in these small corrections. Temperature shifts in the air are subtle but real. Sometimes it feels warm, sometimes cold, and your body struggles to adjust. Layered clothing is not just a fashion choice, it is a strategy. Removing or adding one layer at the right time keeps your body steady while those around you either shiver or sweat. Light and sound also shape how you feel. Bright overhead lights confuse your natural rhythm, while constant noise strains the mind. Earplugs, eye masks, or even just tilting your head away from the glare are tools to reclaim control. The body sends signals long before discomfort turns into pain. A dry throat means dehydration. A restless leg means poor circulation. A fast heartbeat means tension. Responding early with a drink, a stretch, or a deep breath prevents the discomfort from growing. The science of comfort is not complicated. It is about listening, adjusting, and respecting the wisdom of your own body. In that respect, every senior already carries the most valuable tool of all, experience. The mind of a senior traveler often carries layers of memories, and flying can sometimes stir confusion or unease. The unfamiliar sounds, the cramped space, the endless announcements can feel overwhelming. Yet the journey also offers a chance to nourish the mind if you choose to guide it with intention. One simple practice is to engage your memory. Try recalling the names of places you have visited, or the birthdays of your grandchildren, or even the lyrics of a song you once loved. These small exercises keep the brain active and turn idle hours into meaningful reflection. Mindfulness is another path. Instead of resisting the noise or the movement of the plane, notice it. Feel the hum of the engine, observe the flicker of light on the tray table, Listen to your own breathing. This act of gentle observation calms the nervous system and grounds the mind in the present. For those who enjoy writing, a small notebook can transform the flight into a retreat. Note down your thoughts, sketch a simple memory, or write a message to someone you love. In this way, the journey becomes more than travel. It becomes a sanctuary for thought. The plane may confine the body, but it can open the mind. You only need to choose how you will spend that time. Air travel gathers strangers into close quarters, each with their own story, each on their own path. For seniors, this is not just a challenge, it is an opportunity. A brief conversation with the person next to you can turn hours of silence into moments of connection. Starting small is the key. Ask about their destination, share a memory of your own travels, or simply comment on the view outside the window. These gentle openings invite dialogue without pressure. Sometimes a short exchange is enough to lighten the atmosphere and remind you that you are not alone in the sky. Yet connection does not always mean conversation. Knowing when to be silent, when to rest in your own thoughts is equally important. Respect for your own energy and for the space of others creates harmony in the shared cabin. Human connection is also built with the crew. A kind word, a thank you, or a moment of patience when they are busy can establish trust and care. Seniors often find that this quiet respect comes back in unexpected ways, whether in extra attention or in a smile that eases the journey. The cabin is temporary, but the connections can last. Sometimes the memory of a kind stranger becomes part of the story of the trip itself. Age is often seen as a limitation in travel, but on a plane it can quietly become a source of advantage. Seniors are often met with respect, patience, and sometimes even priority, not because they demand it, but because their presence carries weight. The years lived are visible, and that visibility can soften the attitudes of both crew and fellow passengers. There is also the gift of calm. Younger travelers may rush, complain, or show frustration, but seniors often carry a slower rhythm that steadies the space around them. This calmness is not weakness, it is influence. And it can transform the atmosphere of a flight. When a senior remains composed during turbulence, others nearby unconsciously follow. Another unseen benefit lies in perspective. Having experienced decades of change, seniors see flights not as interruptions, but as opportunities, time given rather than time lost. That shift in perspective makes discomforts easier to bear and turns small gestures, like a smile from a steward, into treasures. Age can be like a hidden passport, one stamped not with countries, but with wisdom. Using it does not require words, only presence. In the sky, where everyone is reduced to the same small seat, the dignity of age quietly expands and makes the journey more meaningful for everyone. Every flight is more than transportation. It is a thread in the story of a life. For seniors, this thread can be woven into something lasting, a legacy to be shared. The moments that seem small, like writing a note in a journal or taking a photo of the clouds, can become keepsakes that outlive the journey itself. One way to transform travel is to mark it intentionally. Write down one lesson learned during the flight or one thought that came to mind when the world outside the window looked endless. Share that with your children or grandchildren, and suddenly the flight becomes part of family history. Conversations with strangers can also become legacy. A kind word, a shared laugh, or a story told at 30,000 feet may never be repeated, yet it can stay alive in memory as a moment of connection. These fragments of humanity are gifts to yourself and to those you tell later. Even silence can become part of legacy. Choosing to rest, to breathe, to reflect may seem ordinary, but it shows future generations that life is not only about reaching destinations quickly, it is about valuing the journey. Travel can be practical, but for seniors it can also be symbolic. Each flight is a reminder that life still offers new horizons, and leaving a trace of that awareness is the most enduring legacy of all. Air travel often seems like a test of patience, a challenge to endure until the plane lands. But for seniors, it can be more than that. It can be a stage where wisdom, preparation, and calm turn what others see as struggle into something meaningful. Comfort is not just found in pillows or snacks. It is created in the way you prepare your body, manage your energy, and communicate with kindness. Every flight offers a choice. You can see it as hours lost or as hours gifted, a pause in life where you have time to rest, reflect, and connect. The real secret is not hidden in airline policies, but in the way you approach the journey. Age does not limit this. Age enriches it. Seniors carry with them the patience to wait, the courage to ask, and the perspective to see flying not as a burden, but as an experience. With every journey, there is a chance to turn travel into a story, into a memory, into a quiet legacy. Flying then becomes not about getting from one place to another, but about discovering once more how to live fully, even in the space between destinations.